We are glad to host Water and Irrigation CS Simon Chelugui to the program. And if you have any questions on the efficiency of the water sector, we'll give you a chance to pose them to him. 22422 is our SMS line. Use the hashtag Citizen Extra, and in just a bit we'll be displaying those questions for you and for the CS, and he'll be able to answer them for us. CS, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you for finding time to be here with us today.
Thank you.
I must say, the last couple of months have been rather busy for you. I can say that you've almost been on a firefighting mission. If it's not flooding with complaints of no water harvesting, if it's not burst dams, some leading to the loss of life, it's been one thing or the other. Can you say that there has been good news from your ministry in 2018?
I can say there have been challenges. And I believe we have been managing them. We came on board in the month of February, personally, and the entire team was on board, the total leadership, the top leadership of the ministry, the CS, myself, and the CS, Winnie Gushu, and the PS, Joseph Irungu, were in place by March. And that time we had a massive drought and famine in the country. And the challenge at that time was lack of water. And so we were doing water bowsing, cutting, and borehole drilling, rehabilitation, fixing of water tracking. These were activities that we just took over. Immediately we took office.
And then it floods.
But immediately after that, in the month of March, unexpectedly, we started the massive rain and flooding. And along the way, we have also lost lives, and it's unfortunate, our condolences. And we are working hard to strengthen, working together with the Water Resource Management Authority, which is charged with the responsibility of overseeing management of our waterways and also our water sources. There have also been paradox questions like Ndakaini, and that I have put to rest that the situation in Ndakaini is normal. It is a pattern, it is a weather pattern. It starts all the time from the month of April, from the lower sides of Muranga, we're draining towards Aberdares, which is the catchment area for the dam of Ndakaini. Today, as we speak, Ndakaini is filling up by 2% every day. So
2% every day?
Every day. I want to confirm that in 2 weeks, it will be overflowing.
In 2 weeks, Ndakaini Dam will be overflowing?
Yes.
Okay.
We will have reached our spillway. Right now, by yesterday evening, because they brief us every morning and evening, and because it has been a national concern, we have had visits by the County Assembly of Nairobi, National Assembly, Senate, and our team. And we've been monitoring on a daily basis. And by yesterday, we were at 73%.
Now that you brought up the issue of Ndakaini, now that we've seen what happens, and your ministry has been very categorical that no one is siphoning water out or trying to grab water upstream, what more can be done to ensure that Ndakaini can quickly harvest available rain? Have you thought of strategies to ensure that we don't have a situation like this? Because one then imagines if we hadn't seen the sort of extended rainfall or flooding that we would have now, Ndakaini would not have filled up. But I mean, thank God that you've given us that confirmation. What can we learn about Ndakaini from what we've seen?
It's a design issue. Ndakaini was designed to receive water from 3 rivers which feeds into it, and these rivers are not storm rivers. They are right at the top of the hill. So when it rains, the aquifers or the water seeps through the catchment area down to the collection aquifers. And then as it fills up, because we had 3 years of drought, so these aquifers were drained, were depleted, and they were almost dry. So the river was releasing very minimal or very low water flows. But today we have the highest flows from these rivers as we speak now, because after 2 months of rain, the aquifers are full and the rivers are delivering the highest amount of water at about 9 meters cubed per second. It's a lot, it's full. But 1 or 1.5 months ago, you could see, I saw photos from some of your team showing some of the culverts, which is part of the river, were dry. But today, those culverts, they're even overflowing.
I think one of the challenges, CS, was the method of messaging. For example, before Kenyans really took note of what was happening in Ndakaini, the message was that Ndakaini is not filling up. One weekend, Kenyans get mad, go online, complain, and then the narrative from the ministry or from the body that runs Ndakaini starts changing. Now they're saying it's filling up. So there was a sense of did the dam respond to the feedback of Kenyans? And I think that is what led to all this clamor.
I want to confirm, and I want to be honest, that yes, that was the position, that there could have been a gap in communicating correctly. But we immediately seized the opportunity and took up the responsibility and explained to Kenyans. And we mobilized teams, we took media, we took the leadership, both at the assemblies of the counties and the national, and we are all convinced. We went round the dam even last week.
It's airtight.
It's airtight. And we have sensors within the dam, because we know the risk and that can happen if anything happens within this dam. So we are continuously monitoring the filling up and the drying of the dam, because we depend 70% on Nairobi depends on Ndakaini 70%. So that is a national strategic dam which feeds the biggest city in Kenya, Nairobi.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. I want to take you from the Ndakaini Dam to another dam. Let's talk about the Solai Dam tragedy.
Yes.
And you've come out quite strongly on that. What is the status of, and I'm sure that's something your ministry is doing, of your investigation of what happened there, the ability of the dams, especially that one that burst to hold water. Where are we on this particular matter?
On this particular matter is that my ministry is responsible for licensing, permitting, and also continuous eligibility of any facility, a dam, to earn a license or a permit.
Okay.
In this incident, which was very unfortunate, we have carried out our investigations, and in terms of criminal or civil, is not our mandate.
Okay.
Ours is one. The arrangement has been every owner of a dam approaches the ministry, and we believe the arrangement is that there is belief that Kenyans will be patriotic to know that I have a dam. It has risks. If I don't own up and present this case to the authorities, then I will be in breach. So what we have done ourselves is we've carried out assessment not only on that particular dam, but all the dams within the farm, and we have made our recommendations on corrective measures to be done by the owner of the farm. And if there any culpability, we have also shared with the investigating authorities, which is now another department of the government.
Do you believe there was culpability?
Up to this stage right now, it will be preemptive on my part to I'll prejudice.
But you called the dams illegal.
The dams that were built at that time, and the findings and the information that I got at that time, the information I had is we don't have any records. We didn't have records. We don't have information, and that our team on the ground are collaborating all the information and the documents that relates to this. Okay. So I would say I want when that all those investigative arms, including our department, because we are not through with it, so they will collaborate and put together all the information and submit to me. We had given ourselves 2 weeks after the burial of these people.
Okay.
So within 2 weeks, I should be able to answer you in terms of legality or illegality of the dam.
But you're saying the information you had when you declared the dams illegal, because we even have that clip, was based on the information you had then, and at that point your team did not have any records about those dams?
You know, immediately after the accident, the incident, there was a reaction, and there was a national, we had to send a team. And as, you know, our licensing happens at the regional. And the headquarters is the immediate body that responds to me. So when I engaged the department in Nairobi, they were yet to. So the information they had was, they didn't have this information. So we have been building. So I had to send a team to really go and collaborate all this information. And as we speak now, we believe they'll come up with the right information, and I should be able to make a statement on the same.
Which is in another week, I guess.
In another week, yes.
Has already
I should be able to make a statement in a week to really the cause and what happened and what's going to what likely happen, and the status of the dam, and what we are going to do. But meanwhile, to mitigate any damage or any further risks, we have advised the owner and any other Kenyan who has a dam to really, we want first public information on any dam so that we can be able to correct or be able to prevent any possible accident like this. So we first sensitize the public to forward information relating to any dam in Kenya, and including the ones in Solai. And those that we found were weak and likely to breach, we have recommended that we drain the dams. And that has happened even in some dams in Solai and some dams in the country.
Okay.
Yes.
The owner of the dam, that particular one in Solai, says that it was unfair and untrue for you to declare his dams illegal, because he says he has been making payments to Warma and the Water Resources Authority for very many years.
We have that information has reached me about. I've not met the owner of the farm,
okay,
but what he has said and what I have said is what we want to consolidate in 1 week's time. We'll be able to give a statement, because we don't want to contradict our information. We want to also ensure that what happens at the ground is the same information that I have at the headquarters. So within 2 weeks, we'll be able to now make a statement.
Together.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the powers of your ministry, because, for example, when the incident happened and we called Warma, they told us that they have been warning the owner about the state of the dams, and the owner does nothing. Does your ministry have the power, for example, because a lot of these dams are on private farms, do they have the power to walk into a farm and shut it down? What sort of mechanisms do you have in place in case you suspect that there is a weak dam somewhere and it's not in a public area?
The enforcement part of
exactly.
Of the Warma, it's just like any other regulator. Warma has capacity and authority to enforce any dam that they find is risky and can cause public and can cause a big risk in terms of loss of life. A breach of a dam is very devastating. It can be very catastrophic, because you can see what happens on this other dam. So it starts with us. First, it starts with application. When a Kenyan or an individual applies for a license, the first thing that we do is we look at the application, we look at the site, we look at the place, we look at the feasibility and compliance with the environmental issues, and also the possible one, it may not breach, it may be well done, but you might cause massive environmental damage downstream if you drain all the water into the dam. So we must also consider other people who are using it. In the event of a breach like that, then we have, and we are still enhancing. We have, but we're still low on that, slim on that. And because of this, we now want to be part of our RRI, which we launched yesterday, is to enhance enforcement and authority, because even apportionment, we have so many obstructions on a particular river. Like when you go to Maua, a river, Maua, we discovered about 85 obstructions. Maybe one solution to this obstruction, because downstream may dry the river. So what we do is we propose a big dam which will regulate the flow along the downstream, and that will ensure everybody is benefiting from this resource. So with this dam, we impound enough water to support the entire usage along the river.
What are your thoughts on those who say that it is unethical, it is immoral for owners of private farms to set up a dam on the pathway of a river?
I agree with you. It is we are responsible for apportionment, and we care for all users. So it is important. So as part of our regulatory responsibility, Warma is supposed to check how much water you are obstructing, and we must comply. Because if you don't, then it means you are going to over obstruct from
water
this
that
river.
Could be used.
And we encourage them to impound stormwater, rainwater. Like now, when it's raining, this is a waterway. The river is a waterway. So you impound at that time. Then during the dry season, so that at any one moment the river is the flow is maintained.
Yes.
Yeah, the river flow is maintained.
But in this case, that river flow could not go past that place. You saw the pictures.
Which one?
You were there, where
Which
the
one?
dam was set up.
When I arrived there, they had breached. When I landed there, it had breached. So
yes.
I didn't know whether there was a complete the impoundment or there was an overflow. And these are part of the things, because we want to get to the bottom of it.
Okay.
Yeah. But as we get to the bottom of it, we also need to collaborate all the information, right from the owner and also from ourselves.
When are you meeting the owner?
I haven't had, this is an engagement they have with Warma.
Which so is Warma who will call the owner?
Who will call the owner, and as part of their regulatory responsibility.
Okay.
So they will engage the owner and discuss, and then now part of the information they are building, because we also have to work together with the investigative agencies and give them our technical findings. Because
you're the ones who know what, how the sector operates.
Yes, how the sector operates, how dams should be constructed, and how they are. But also, you see, access is also sometimes a challenge. To access, if you fence your farm and you block everybody, sometimes it becomes a challenge. And that's why some of the information that we work with are dependent on voluntary submission of information and request. Like when you need a borehole, I do not expect you to just go and drill a borehole. You'll need to apply to for a permit from Warma. They will check whether there is a neighboring borehole 800 meters away from you, and if they don't, then they will also look at the obstruction you are getting from the borehole, because we have domestic and we have commercial. And if you're doing domestic or you're doing commercial, and we are expecting, we have a big settlement around the area, we expect in one way or another they will come for a permit. Because they also need one.
And that's where I have a problem. If you won't follow up on me and I'm able to run my business as normal, it's human nature not to put yourself in trouble when you don't have to be quite honest. Wouldn't you say that? And this is what the owner of the farm of the dam was saying, that, and I had an interview with him, he said, if Warma really had a problem with me, they would have shut me down.
It's
they
possible,
would have shut me down.
It's possible to shut individuals in boreholes that we have, just like what a regulator does, like CA, KCA,
exactly.
And KCA can withdraw a license of an airline, and that is our enforcement. So as a new team, we want to ensure that as part of our RRI, we want to up the responsibility of enforcing any regulatory requirement on every license. And I have put it to even Warma to take it, to really up their game. We would want, we have as an...
Do you think they took their responsibilities lightly?
No, they have taken it very seriously.
You're completely confident in the way this whole matter has been handled by Warma?
You know, at the end of the day, is what I will now make that conclusion. But up to this stage, we are collaborating information. But going forward is we need to enforce. We need to up our game on enforcement. We need to increase our capacity. We need to resource the Warma so that they ensure, because water, somebody can abuse, can actually even discharge effluent and waste in waterways, affecting people downstream. And so we must protect. We must ensure the safety of the water. There are people who are destroying the catchment areas. We must also ensure that those catchment areas, together with the forest and environment, are also protected.
Okay.
Yes.
I want to get your thoughts on the Tana River counties and areas like this, where we've seen a lot of heavy flooding. It's just completely unbelievable in terms of what has happened. In your view, to what extent do the dams upstream of counties like Tana River contribute to the flooding in an area like Tana River?
Tana River is the longest and the biggest dam river in Kenya, and the source of this Tana River starts from Mount Kenya, and part of it Aberdare, and even some of it are flowing from as far as Nyandarua towards the river. So Tana River is just the flow. You know, the highest rain is seen and witnessed around the mountain Kenya and Aberdare. This is what feeds into the main river of Tana. That's why we have the 7 forks along the river, not at the river. The 7 forks, I've seen people from Kilifi complaining about the flooding, and sometimes accusing Ministry of Energy and the KenGen for discharging, opening the floodgates and opening the overflows. This is not the case. The river Tana comes from through Mbere, Kitui, the Seven Forks, then Garissa, then Hola, then Bura, then it gets out towards Karsen. That's how it gets to. That's the river that is used by the Seven Forks. So the contribution partially is coming from Tana River.
From the dams upstream of Tana River, or from the Tana, what river itself?
The river itself, you know, it builds up from the upstream, and then it keeps. There are so many feeders and tributaries that feeds into the main river. So river, you realize for almost 1.5 years, for 1.5 months, there has been lower flooding until last week when we made a statement jointly with the Minister for Energy, Honorable Charles Keter, and the Minister in charge of Devolution and Special Programs, Eugene Wamalo, who was my predecessor. So we made a statement because KenGen notified, and it is our responsibility as a responsible government to notify the public. And even as Warma, I've now been advised to take note. We have already installed telemetric instruments across our river, so that when we see these flows rising, we notify and alert, send alerts across, so that anybody living along the river and the riparian area can move to safer ground.
Okay, so that's a strategy.
Although Kenyans, again, I saw one on your TV station from Kitui saying that the government has given us notice, but they are not giving us transport and they are not telling us where to go. But we are saying, be safe first. We will deal with transport and where to deal with secondly.
They don't know how to live there. Okay, but you're saying let them first find whatever way they can use to move.
Yes, just move. Be safe.